Good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Carmelo Lattuca in the 1011 Now streaming studio. Lots to talk about today. We have rounds of severe weather possible today through Tuesday afternoon and evening, so a daily chance across different parts of the state, and it will continue to feel like summer as we go through the next 5 to 7 days. Starting with our Lincoln Weather Almanac, yesterday we did reach a high temperature of 88 degrees, slightly above average for this time of year. Low temperature right at average, right around 61 degrees. Didn't record any precipitation yesterday, and we certainly could still use some. We are now running 5.34 inches below average for the year as a total. And as we take a look at the precipitation almanac a little bit closer, we're not running as bad of a deficit for the month. We're at 1.21. We should be closer to 1.9, but certainly a very large deficit for the yearly precipitation. But there are chances for rain over the next 5 to 7 days, and we could maybe get 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches of rain over the next 5 to 7 days as well. Low temperatures out there this morning dropped down to right around average once again, maybe slightly above average, 62 degrees in Lincoln. We saw some 50s all the way out to the west, 50 degrees in Alliance, but for the most part, we were in the low to mid 60s in the morning hours so far today. For Lincoln, Omaha, O'Neill, and North Platte, we're seeing mostly sunny to perhaps partly cloudy conditions at this hour. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy here in the capital city. Temperature of 77 degrees at the studio, 78 degrees at the airport, but it does already feel like 80 degrees thanks to that dew point of 67, so bordering muggy, if not a little bit more humid out there, and winds are out of the south-southwest at right around 7 miles per hour. Current temperatures here in Lincoln this morning, right around the mid to upper 70s and even some low 80s. So highest temperature I think I'm seeing right now is 83 degrees in the central and southern parts of town, and we're down to as low as 73, 74 degrees as well. But we're certainly going to warm up today back into the upper 80s and maybe close to 90 degrees. A little bit cooler off to northern Nebraska. Only 62 in Valentine, 66 in Ainsworth right now. Once again, 78 in Lincoln. That's one of the warmer spots. It is already 80 in Norfolk and 79 degrees out in Wayne. As we take a look at our dew point temperatures, a lot of humidity out there right now. Plenty of moisture to fuel some afternoon and perhaps evening thunderstorms. Right now we're seeing dew points range anywhere from the upper 50s to the mid to upper 60s. York at 68 degrees, one of our more humid locations, with Ainsworth down to 59 degrees. And our feel-like temperatures, not seeing a lot of color variation so far on this map, but I do expect these numbers to go up as we go throughout the day today. Winds right now, variable in direction, but for speed, 5, 10, 15 miles per hour out of the south and southwest and central and eastern Nebraska, more northerly winds in northern and northwestern Nebraska. And for satellite and radar, we're seeing mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies, a little bit more cloud cover in central, south central, and northern Nebraska, a little bit more sunshine all the way out to the west, and a little bit more sunshine all the way out to the north and northeast. All of our rain is located for the most part in the Missouri River Valley, as well as in Illinois, the Great Lakes region off to our north and east. Not seeing too much in terms of precipitation right now closer to Nebraska. And as we take a look at the national picture, we are seeing showers and thunderstorms off into the Carolinas as well. Really no severe weather at this point, but we are seeing a few flash flood warnings off into the east. Not a lot of weather alerts to talk about, and as we zoom in just a little bit closer, either an air quality alert or maybe some dense fog in western South Dakota, but overall, really not seeing much in terms of weather alerts. That will likely change, though, over the next few days. And that's one of our weather headlines. Severe weather possible today through the day on Tuesday. Isolated to scattered in nature. And we can see damaging winds, large hail. Can't even completely rule out tornadoes at this point. Summer-like temperatures are set to continue. And for Father's Day forecast, warm and possibly stormy. Right now, a 30% chance for some storms in the afternoon and evening hours. As we play out Skycast, though, notice that the cloud cover will continue for parts of the day, so mostly sunny to partly cloudy, and we could be quiet through the 4 p.m. hour, but as we get into this evening, we'll start to see storms develop out to the west in the Panhandle, maybe in central Nebraska as well, but those Panhandle storms moving off to the south and east into southwestern Nebraska, closer into the late evening hours, right around 11 p.m., continuing potentially into the overnight hours as well, so we'll have to watch out for that potential for overnight activity, and severe weather still a possibility as well. Showers and storms continuing into tomorrow morning, but we should be mainly quiet through the late morning to early afternoon before storms redevelop in eastern Nebraska as early as 2-3 p.m. and continue into Saturday evening in eastern Nebraska, and then eventually off into the Panhandle, and then quiet Saturday night into Sunday morning before another round is possible, late Sunday afternoon and into Monday morning, especially out into western Nebraska. So just rounds of storms. It's not going to be a washout any single day, but we certainly have the severe weather risk every single day up until Tuesday afternoon and evening. For the Friday severe weather weather outlook, slight risk of scattered severe thunderstorms in western Nebraska and the Panhandle into southwestern locations. Lincoln under no severe weather risk. We're not even under the general thunderstorm outlook, so we should be dry out there today. As we head into the day on Saturday, marginal risk covers the majority of the state. Slight risk continues out into western Nebraska. By the time we get to Sunday, the slight risk moves just a little bit more off to the north and northeast, but the entire state now under a severe weather outlook for isolated to scattered severe thunderstorms. On Monday, it appears to not be popping up. Give me just one moment here. We can get that to come up in just a second, but this will be for northern Nebraska. Let's see if I can find it here. Why is it not popping up? We should see these storms coming up. There we are. Northern Nebraska on Monday afternoon and evening, especially across far northern locations. So not as great of an area, but there's likely going to be a marginal risk as we get into the day on Monday. And by the time we get to Tuesday, I'm going to have to load this up one more time. But as we get into Tuesday, now covers a majority of the state for slight risk for scattered severe thunderstorms. So this could be the day we have a weather alert day, potentially. It's something we'll keep our eyes on over the weekend. But given that we now have a slight risk in the capital city, whether or not that shifts or not will be a key indicator of what happens as we head into early next week. And a lot of these storms will be dependent on what happens the day before and into the overnight hours. That could kill the stability. That might enhance the stability depending on if they exit early. So every day is something to just keep your eyes to the skies and stay weather aware, especially this weekend and into early next week. But for the next 3 days, the precipitation potential, we're talking about a quarter to a half an inch, maybe up to an inch of rain. Really going to depend on who sees the thunderstorms. And over the next 3 days, northern and western Nebraska has the better chance, maybe some locations in southeastern Nebraska. Going over the next 7 days, though, this now covers the majority of the severe weather outlooks. We're now seeing a lot more purple, a little bit more orange across central, northern, and eastern Nebraska. Now we're talking an inch and a half, 2, maybe even up to 3 inches of rain. Certainly, once again, dependent on if we see those thunderstorms and how long those thunderstorms play or stay around. But for Friday afternoon and evening, pretty quiet through 4 p.m. Then we see thunderstorms develop once again to the west. We'll move off to the south and east closer to midnight. Should be quiet early tomorrow morning for the most part. Then we'll watch out for thunderstorms once again tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow evening in southeastern Nebraska, as well as off into the west. It's going to be across multiple areas of the state that we'll have to watch out for those isolated to scattered severe thunderstorms with damaging winds, large hail, and once again, maybe even an isolated tornado. Sunday morning into Sunday afternoon, the cloud cover will begin to decrease, so a lot more sunshine on Sunday compared to Saturday. And thunderstorms really don't look as likely as they maybe once did earlier this morning. But out to the west, we'll have to watch out for another round of severe weather and possibly into Sunday night and into early Monday morning as well. But at least here in Lincoln, maybe that chance drops down to 20% later on this afternoon. Father's Day looks to be a little bit quieter compared to Saturday. Low temperatures tomorrow morning, a little bit closer to 70 degrees. So we're starting off on a warmer note than what we have recently seen. And we could climb into the upper 80s to low 90s on Saturday. Mid to upper 60s Sunday morning. And by Sunday afternoon, same thing, upper 80s to low 90s. Maybe not as many 90s around, more off to the south and west, right around 89 degrees in Lincoln. By the time we get to Monday morning, temperature is still trending above normal, mid to upper 60s, and Monday afternoon, a little bit more in terms of those 90s, upper 80s to low to perhaps mid 90s, 91 in Lincoln. Tuesday, we're going to start to see cooler conditions off into the west in the mid to upper 50s, but still mid to upper 60s in central and eastern Nebraska. And by Tuesday, an effects of a cold front starting to be felt. We're talking about 70s off to the north and west, continuing to be in the 80s, though, off to the south and east. So finally, some cooler temperatures starting to return to the region by the time we get to Tuesday. And you can notice that a little bit more so on Wednesday here in Lincoln, right around 85 degrees. 30 to 40% chance for showers and thunderstorms Sunday through Wednesday. We quiet down Saturday, and especially into later on next week, Thursday and Friday, small chances. But our temperatures going right back up into the upper 80s to low 90s. For the 10-day forecast, in terms of our maximum temperatures, 80s and 90s look pretty likely. The one day that, or maybe the 1 to 2 days that we drop down to the 70s, really in northern and western Nebraska, that would be Tuesday and Wednesday. But look at next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It looks like most locations could be in the mid to upper 90s. And look at that, 100 degrees. It's very far out. That number is likely to change, but upper 90s to right around 100 in McCook. The 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd. Here in Lincoln, low to mid 90s seem to be a little bit more likely, but certainly going to remain hot across the area as a majority of the forecast. Dew point temperatures, not too bad overall as we go into Friday and Saturday. You know, we're talking about 50s and 60s, maybe a little bit more humid out in western Nebraska, but certainly Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we're talking about dew points in the upper 60s to mid 70s. So those temperatures that I just showed in the 7-day, where it's in the upper 80s to low 90s, certainly going to feel like it's in the mid 90s, maybe even the upper 90s on some days. And the humidity does continue after that cold front moves through Wednesday and Thursday of next week. We're going to go see the upper 60s to mid to upper 70s by next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as a total. Precipitation chances, really not expecting too much in terms of rain out there today. McCook, North Flat, best chances overall. But Saturday through Wednesday, we're talking about a 30, 40, 50% chance. And we do quiet down Thursday through Sunday of next week as well. For the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, above normal temperatures are expected to continue, especially in southwestern Nebraska. No surprise there after we saw that 100-degree possibility out in McCook. But now as our average high climbs more into the mid to upper 80s, this will likely mean 90s will continue June 20th through June 26th. Precipitation-wise, for the most part, near normal across the state, maybe drier than average in the Panhandle in southwestern Nebraska, maybe slightly above average in extreme northeastern Nebraska. And for the 8 to 14-day hazards, June 20th through June 26th, excessive heat continues to be a possibility. We're under a slight risk across central, southern, and eastern Nebraska. Once again, June 20th through June 26th, so the warm temperatures are only expected to continue in the next 1 to 2 weeks. Earlier this week, we saw that heavy precipitation a little bit closer to the state. That has now moved off to the north and east as well, so maybe not seeing as much of heavy precipitation, but certainly those warmer than average temperatures are expected to continue, and you saw that in the 7-day forecast with upper 80s to low 90s. But in terms of the severe weather, make sure to stay weather aware this weekend. Possible weather alert day as we get into early to middle parts of next week, but daily chances for isolated to scattered severe thunderstorms with damaging winds, large hail, and yes, once again, maybe a few tornadoes here and there on each of these days. Once again, each day is going to really create the conditions for the next day, depending on how long those showers and thunderstorms last into the overnight hours and into the early morning hours as well. Make sure to stay tuned at 10:11 News at noon. I'll have all the latest forecast details. Make sure to stay tuned to the news at 4, 5, 6, and 10 later on this evening. We'll continue to talk about that weekend forecast. Have a great day, everyone.